I went to the rock climbing gym in my area, and I put a job ad there. You like playing at heights? You like working at heights? Come work for me. Guess what? I hired a couple rock climbers. They were awesome with ropes. They taught me how to rope up on a roof, right?
Mhm.
So I went directly to, I knew who I wanted to hire, and I went directly to them.
Welcome to Jobbers Masters of Home Service, a podcast for home service pros by home service pros. We're in Las Vegas, and today we're talking about how to hire people that are better than you. I'm your host, Adam Sylvester. Today's guests are Jackson Blackburn and Megan Schumann. Guys, welcome to the studio.
Thank you, Adam.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. Glad you're here. So, Megan, why don't you tell our listeners who you are, what you do, and how you got here?
Sure. So I own a plumbing company. We do plumbing, drain cleaning, septics, and well systems. We've been in business for about 15 years, but my background is I'm a CPA. So started in public accounting, and here I am.
Awesome. That's a good combo. Jackson?
Yeah, my name's Jackson. I am from Bellingham, Washington. I own a window cleaning business, and I've been using Jobber for probably around 4 years now, and I'm loving it. So just an honor to be here with you guys in beautiful Las Vegas in this amazing studio.
So we are all Jobber users here, which is great. It feels good to all be big fans. So let's get into it. So the goal, right, in hiring is to hire people that are better than you, right? Not just a bunch of people who can do the job that you always feel like you're better than. That's not a good way of doing it. But how do you go about hiring people that are actually can exceed your abilities?
If you peel back the layers of your business, it really starts with your culture. And your culture is really going to dictate who your job ad is going to speak to and who we're ultimately going to bring on the team. And when we look at the job ad, I'd say that's going to be one of the most important parts of your recruiting process as a whole. If you have a really bland job advertisement, you're going to get very bland applicants for that job. So how can we make our job advertisement stick out and really knock the socks off of applicants? If you can do that, you're going to have a much better time sifting through applications. And then taking that a step further, how can we construct that job ad to also eliminate people that we don't want to waste our time bringing in for interviews and going through pre-screening questions with? So at my business in particular, we have a very difficult job. Right? If you don't like working at heights, if you don't like working outside, if you don't like working some long hours every now and then, you're not going to last long. So I'm going to put that into our job advertisement so I can weed out the people that I don't want. I'd rather have 10 applications where I want to hire 5 of them than get 200 applications and have to sift through every single one of those.
Well said.
Yeah. I'm gonna kind of go on the company culture. That's huge. And for us, I'm hiring based on attitude and ability. So, or future ability, I should say. It doesn't have to be present day ability. So if somebody has a good attitude, they've got a good work ethic, and I know that I can figure that out through job interview, through job shadowing, through whatever we do, I am way more willing to train. Some of my most successful people are ones that we've hired and we've grown them inside. So they've learned because they had good ability to learn and good work ethic.
Yeah. I definitely think that part of the hiring process or recruiting process needs to include this vision of the future, right? Like, hey, you can start out as an apprentice, but you become a junior tech and a senior a tech, a senior tech, and all these different levels of the ladder. A lot of the people that we're hiring for these trade jobs, they are currently working at a dead end job.
Mhm.
And that's the word they would use.
Mhm.
And they don't want to do that anymore. They want to work somewhere where they can advance their career. They can feel like they're actually going somewhere and getting better and training and learning more. And you shouldn't bury that. You should like make that very open and obvious to people in the job description. Don't you guys
Yeah.
think?
I think you really have to be open to different industries because that also can open up. They have different things that they've seen in the world, and they can bring something into your business that someone who's always been in the plumbing industry might not understand. If they've been in hospitality, maybe they've got a different attitude that they can bring and benefit to your company.
Yeah, and I think vision's so important. David Mowerman from Home Service Business Coach told me a long time ago, you wouldn't jump on a bus if you didn't know where that bus was going. And the same thing pertains to an employee joining your business. Like, why would someone join your business if you didn't know where that business was going? It's not a short bus ride.
Mhm.
This could be a 2, 5, 10 year bus ride, you're going to want to know where that's going. And so that's why it's part of our process. When we bring someone in for an interview, if we really like that candidate, we're going to show them a printed out, nicely designed 3-year vision for our company and talk about that with them and say, hey, is this something that you would like to be a part of? And for the right candidate that wants to work for a company where they see opportunity, where they want to develop themselves, where they maybe want to advance their career, they're going to love seeing that vision. And the chances are, if they're applying to other home service businesses in your area, no one else is showing them anything like that. So
Mhm.
who do you think has the upper hand in hiring that rock star candidate? Well, you do, because you've shown them a path to the future. It's so important to get, especially this new generation of workers. They want chances to develop. They don't want to work these dead end jobs, right? It's not, they don't go to work just for $25 an hour. Anyone can give them that. But who can really show them what the future looks like?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. We take that kind of a step further too. We really invest in kind of the long game with people. So I'm going to job fairs at middle schools, not just high schools, not just trade schools. I'm starting at that, just that exposure level. Those kids have no idea what a plumber is. They don't know what that industry is. But all it takes is one person telling that kid, hey, do you like to work with your hands? Do you like to be outside? Do you like seeing, a project to completion? And sometimes that's just that one little trigger, and they'll remember that. And hey, if you ever want a job shadow, if you ever want to see more, call me. And so I have had success with just kind of planting that seed early and then following back up in high school and trying that.
I like that because it's good leadership. And to use your bus example, people also look to see who's the driver of the bus. And if there's a weak leader in the bus, not very compelling to join, right? But
Mhm.
if there's a leader in the bus who has clear vision for the business, who is willing to do those kinds of things to develop people even at a younger age, I think people are way more likely to be attracted to that business, at least for a proper interview and at least to begin that process. They may not ultimately work out, but we have to look at ourselves because people are ultimately attracted to the leader of the business the most. And so what are some things that you guys have learned about yourselves and from looking at other businesses that the leader needs to be doing in the hiring process to make sure that people are attracted to the right things?
I've been really focused on building a team that has amazing chemistry together. And that really started with the why our business was created and why we are still around. There's a book by Simon Sinek called Start with Why. And reading that book was one of the most impactful things I've done for my business, because when I looked back, I'd realized that a lot of people start businesses to make more money or get freedom, right? That's a huge reason. And then you got to peel that back and say, well, why did I want more time or more freedom? And for me, it was always so that I could have that time and freedom to go enjoy outdoor recreation, whether that was snowboarding or snowmobiling or riding my mountain bike. And so that why now extends to all of my employees. And we really want to look for people that share those same values, and they want to work this job so that they can get their time off to go kayaking, to go skateboarding, to go on a hike, whatever that is. And that lives very deeply inside of our business. So as a leader, I'm looking for people that want to be on that same mission as I am. And because we've done such a good job at finding and recruiting these folks, we have amazing chemistry within our team. And it really does feel like a team. A lot of companies will say, hey, we're a family here. Well, are you guys a family, or is it just a collection of people making $20 an hour? But I
Mhm.
really feel like we have a team because we have the same vision and the same values. So pretty cool.
Yeah, I agree. I love that. I also think that people won't actually know you have good chemistry unless you had them come in and see it for themselves. So that's why we do a lot of ride-alongs and working interviews and stuff because we want the people. We tell this candidate all these things about our company, right? Oh, we have great culture, we have great chemistry, we have all this, and they're like, yeah, I'll believe it when I see it because everybody says that. But then you bring them in and they work for the day. And they're like, wow, everything Adam said is true, except for that one thing. And I have a question about that, right? And it gives them an opportunity. Because I always tell candidates this: if you go work at Lowe's, you know exactly what you're getting. It's Lowe's. Everybody's been to Lowe's a million times, but you don't know what my business is like. You have no idea. It's a small company, no one knows. And so the only way for you to know what we're like, our technicians are like, our clients are like, our job is like, our work is like, is come experience it, and then they can verify everything Adam was saying was spot on.
Mm.
Right.
Yeah, I was actually just at a dinner that the topic was finding your why.
Mm.
And so it was Dale Wilshire. She's like a life coach. And so she talked a lot about finding your authentic personality. And I think that is really, really true. As a business owner, if you can communicate who you really are, what your goals are, what you stand for, and also know what motivates those employees. So one of the questions that I like to ask when I'm interviewing people, what motivates you, what frustrates you? Because if I know what their values are, I know if it's a good position for them, because we do need all different personalities. That's what makes a business good. You need that really outgoing person. You need that really analytical person. You need all those different makeups to make it good. And so being able to ask those questions and make sure that they're a good fit, not only for that position, but then for your culture, I think is really important.
2 questions here. I want to know what we're looking for in a candidate from just we'll stop there. And then 2, I want to talk about like how do you flush that out with them? Because there's one thing you ask people and then they give you the answer they think you want to know. And then there's other ways to really draw out the real truth, the thing behind the thing, right? So what have you guys found that works in those kinds of situations?
Oh, I've got a couple questions that I really like. And my favorite question to ask in an interview is, on a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate your luck in life? And this really paints a picture of their optimism versus pessimism, or maybe they have a standpoint in life where they play the victim card. And we don't want to hire those people. We want really optimistic people. If you're answering that at less than an 8, a red flag is popping up in my mind for sure. And then secondarily, what I really like to ask is what made you apply for our company specifically? Not to be a window cleaner, not to clean roofs, not to pressure wash, but what made you apply to our company specifically? And this will really give you a good answer if they were drawn to the company culture, if it was the pay. You don't want it to be, hey, I saw that you guys were paying $25 an hour plus tips. It's like, oh, I don't want you here because you want to make good money. I want you to make good money. I want you to do well in life. But that's not why I want you here. I want you to be a part of something bigger. I want you to be a part of this team. So those are the questions that I try and really ask, are ones that identify their traits, see if they have the soft skills over the hard skills, and see, hey, are you going to be a really good mesh with our company? Are you going to add to our company culture?
Yeah, we ask similar kind of why us, and a lot of times I'm hiring younger individuals, maybe right out of high school, and so that can be a very interesting. They don't know what they want to do, and they're just trying to figure it out. And what drew you to us? What drew you to plumbing? And making sure that it's a fit, not just for plumbing industry, but we're in a smaller community. I want to know that they want to be in that smaller community, stay in that smaller community. And I'm not just training them to then go on to some of the big companies, an hour away.
My favorite question to a technician who currently works here is why? And so I like to ask that same question to people I'm interviewing. Oh, I quit that job last month. Why? Well, I didn't really quit. It just wasn't really working out. What do you mean by that? Well, they fired me. But if you just say, "Oh, he quit," and you just move on, but asking why just helps you flush out so many things. It shows that they're articulate and they can actually explain things in a coherent way, and that's actually helpful because you're going to need them to do that when they work here. So you need to make sure they can do that now.
Right.
You also want to make sure what they say is true. You want to make sure what they say aligns up with reality, aligns up with what they've said in the past. And wait, earlier you said you went to Ohio, but then you said Texas. Well, well, what? Right? Let's get to the truth here, because I find that there's a lot of BS in interviews, right? You guys know this. And it's not necessarily with ill intent. It's just people have a lot of baggage. People have lived life, and life is messy. And you need to get to that. You need to find out what's really going on. And why also helps you find the really good candidates. If they answer all your why questions really solid, then you've got a great candidate.
Yeah. I'd say another really big one too for me is asking, hey, what's really important in the next job that you get, whether it's here or somewhere else? And what I really want to hear a lot of the time when I ask that question is that I want chances for development and I want learning opportunities, because that means that you have a really good chance at being with us for a long time. People that want to develop, I want you on my team. If you want to learn, I want you on my team. Those are the people that are going to help grow the business, because at the end of the day, in a home service business, your business is your people. And if you ever get to a point where you have got, let's say, 10 technicians and no one's got managerial skills because you didn't hire people that wanted to learn and wanted to advance and wanted to grow within the company, well, guess what? You, the owner, you're getting called back in, right? You're getting called back into the office. You're getting called back into the truck, which is going to not be great for the growth of your business or the overall health of your business. So I want people that want to take that next step. They want to learn new skills. They want to develop themselves.
Yeah. We really work on developing relationships too with trade schools and the high school, like tech ed teachers and those people, because someone will put references down for a job, and you know what you're going to get when you call those references, right? But being able to have other people that know them well and kind of have that source of truth that you can find out and potentially find good people that way. That's something that we do that is pretty successful, being able to drill down on, is this person really a good fit?
I love
Right.
references. I think references are one of the most overlooked things in business because half the time people weed themselves out just by the references they give me. Someone say, "Yeah, he's all right,
Mm.
just all right. Yeah, he's good." Well, well, he did the job okay, and they're trying to avoid the real thing, which is they weren't very good. So I love calling references. I think it's just so effective. It doesn't mean they're a good candidate, but you can instantly weed out bad candidates by references. So I'm a huge fan of references. Well, I'm gonna pause this great conversation for a minute to talk about Jobber, guys. We know that Jobber helps us actually recruit and maintain top talent. How has it helped you maintain and keep really good people because of some of the features that Jobber has? Megan?
Yeah, the scheduling, just for all of my plumbers can see the night before what they're getting into for the next day. They know we live in Wisconsin, so it's cold. They can know if they're outside, if they're inside, if they need to be dressed accordingly. That just really, really helps them know what the day is going to bring.
Yeah, people hate being like getting the text the morning of, "Hey, go drive here. Here's the address and do this." No, Jobber makes it so much better.
Mhm.
I'm a huge fan of Jobber Tips. It's an amazing feature. Every year, our technicians bring in around $20,000 in tips through those online payments. Not to mention everything that they collect in cash, which is great for them, right? Because now our technicians are working harder to earn that tip. We're making happy clients. It's an amazing tool.
Our guys make a couple $100 a week from the tips. It's amazing, right?
Oh yeah.
It's awesome. You need to start using Jobber today for better scheduling for your technicians and the tips. Go to jobber.com/podcast deal, an exclusive discount, and start using Jobber today. Are you guys familiar with the team player model, Patrick Lencioni, the ideal team player? The ideal team player, Patrick Lencioni wrote this book about it, and it's basically like they need to be humble, hungry, and smart.
Hmm.
Humble means they don't have an ego. They
Mhm.
take feedback well. They're easy to work with. Well, team players easy to work with. And then hungry means like they're eager to make money, to learn, to advance their career. They'll stay late. They'll come early. They'll do whatever it needs to be done to be successful. And then smart is like this EQ soft skills. Can they read the room well? Do they understand when a client is actually not very happy, but they're pretending to be? Do they know when they just need to give their coworker just 5 minutes of time? And do they talk too much? Are they just do they just have these soft skills that are just easy? And ultimately, the team player is people who they just like.
Yeah,
People that you like. So I'm looking for those three characteristics in an interview. Any other characteristics that you guys are looking for?
I think those are great, and maybe you just said it, but I think one of the questions that we ask, which will reveal a trait if they have it or not, what would you like to personally get better at, right? Whether it's professionally or personally. And if people can give you a straight up answer to something that they're actually like an area in life or business that they're weak in, then that means that they can look into themselves and they can better themselves, which means that they're going to be coachable, which is someone that you want at your business. So I don't want to bring on someone that says, "Oh no, I think I'm doing great at everything. I'm really good at this. I'm really good at that." I want to hear what your weaknesses are. I want to know that you can identify
Self-awareness.
Yeah, you have self-awareness, and so that you can actually improve in certain areas.
Yeah. So the next I want to talk about is, do you hire with experience? And this can be very different because Megan is hiring for, plumbing is a very high skilled thing for the most part.
Yep.
And pressure washing, gutters, not as high skilled, don't need licenses, that kind of stuff. And so it's a very different, they're different businesses. I'm curious how you guys answer this, but let's go ahead. Megan, do you hire solely on experience?
No, I would love to be able to hire experienced journeyman master plumbers and just find those all
Mhm.
over. You can't.
It's hard.
There's a shortage. They're not around. So that is where we've had success growing our own. So that's why I really invest in the middle schools, the high schools, the trade schools, finding younger individuals, or doesn't always have to be younger. Maybe it's from a different background, but being able to find somebody who's good that way, and then we train them, and we don't have to also train people out of bad habits too.
Mhm.
We can train them our way. And so plumbing, I mean, it's a 5-year apprenticeship to sit for your journeyman exam. It's a commitment on our part and on their part. And so
Huge commitment.
right, we want to make sure it's a good fit. So we have had the most success training our own people, but we've been lucky and found some already skilled people. So you have to be open to finding whatever talent you can, I think, to be able to grow that. And I think when I'm hiring younger individuals, the thing that I have to be really conscious of is these are 18-year-old kids a lot of times. And you have to give them grace to be able to mature. They're going to make mistakes. Document it, have the conversation with them, and have the follow-up plan so that it doesn't get out of control. And you can decide if they still are a good fit or not. But when you're dealing with younger individuals, there's just a lot of maturity that has to happen there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm actually surprised to hear that in plumbing that
Mm.
it's gotten to that point as well, where, you know, hey, we're taking people that are core value fits and that we see want to learn how to do this. And that's amazing. Yeah. So we're in the same boat. I don't hire, I don't think I've ever hired anyone that's had prior window cleaning experience. Maybe one technician over the years, because I'm looking for the soft skills. I don't care how well you can clean a window. I don't care how many gutters you say that you've cleaned. Anyone can learn how to do that, right? If you got a good training program, if you got the SOPs, take it a step further. If you have someone in your business that is a lead technician or maybe a production manager or a hybrid between the two, even better. You can train people how to do these things, right? But the longevity that you're going to get is going to come from, are they a core value match? Right? Do we like them? Do they have chemistry with the team? Or do we have chances to develop them as human beings? So that's who we're really looking for. Experience is probably the last thing that we look for. I wouldn't even say it's on the list of requirements or expectations for people applying to Mount Baker window cleaning.
The thing is, out of all the things we want our people to have, out of all the different characteristics, experience is the only thing we can give them.
Yeah.
We can help them develop soft skills, but at the end of the day, that's up to them. But we can give experience. And so that's really the last thing, like you said, it should be the last thing on the list. In my view, for most jobs, is like, hey, I can give you the skills. I can give you the experience. That's the only I can, but I need you to be a hard worker. I need you to have a good attitude. I need people to like you. Can you do that?
Yeah.
And because you can wrestle with them, but at the end of the day, they have to decide for themselves that they're going to have those kind of characteristics.
Right. I think that's kind of it plagues a lot of home service businesses, because I do believe that a lot of home service business owners have it backwards, where they do hire for the hard skills because maybe they're in a pinch and they need to get someone that weekend that knows how to do that certain trade, and then they end up saying down the road, hey, this guy's really good at doing the actual work, but he's got a terrible attitude.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Right. And you're right. You cannot train those soft skills. You cannot train someone for attitude. You can absolutely train the hard skills as long as you have those systems in place, and and you're a good leader. So what ends up happening is that your company is built up of what we would call a maverick, which is someone that doesn't really care about the vision of the company. Right? They
It's all about
don't.
them.
Yeah, they're not a core value fit. Maybe they don't follow the SOPs. They do things their own way. And then you end up with a dysfunctional company because you have these people that, yeah, they're very good at the technical skills, but they're not bought into anything else. And so what I like to start with is getting, it's in a completely different quadrant of this square. If we can just imagine a square here, the Maverick being in the top left, you've got a loyal worker, right? So this is someone who comes into your business. They identify with your mission, with your values, right? And you coach them up, you teach them the technical skills, and can turn them into what we would call a rock star. And like that's what you want to comprise your business of. So everyone's going to start as a loyal worker, right? As long as you can find someone that is on board with what you're trying to create, with what you're trying to build, they like you as a leader, you can coach them up to be very
Rockstar.
good technically.
Yeah. So talking about hiring through the lens of our listeners who are really needing to hire people, we've gotten them to the point where they know what to look for, but now where do they look? Are we on Indeed? Are we on where are you finding employees? Because that's a big hang up for people. Like, do they just Craigslist is still a thing now? What do you guys think?
We do a lot of Facebook ads, and honestly, because we're in a smaller community, I'm hiring people that I know through contacts, that I know from these trade schools, that I know from the high schools, that I know I'm getting names that way. Some of my most successful hires have been cold calls that I have just, hey, heard you just graduated tech school, heard you didn't want to do that. You want to do plumbing. Have you ever thought about it? Come job shadow, see what you think. So I think just being open to, honestly, out in the community, if there's someone you see that is a rock star, that's, I don't know, a waiter, maybe they don't want to be a waiter forever. It's
Right.
okay to ask people, hey, have you ever thought about this? You might be surprised. You might find someone really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that when we go to Indeed or Craigslist, a couple things are happening. One, you're casting this huge net over a massive area to try and find a needle in a haystack, right? And then secondarily, you're looking for people that are already unemployed. Why are they unemployed? Why don't you have a job? How long have you been unemployed, right? So we're not really looking in the right place, and we're going very deep into that
Mhm.
zone.
Mhm.
So what I could just give you an example. When I started the business, I knew that I had this, this outdoor recreation culture, and I needed to learn myself how to get on roofs and how to rope up and clean gutters on technical homes. So I went to the rock climbing gym in my area, and I put a job ad there. You like playing at heights? You like working at heights? Come work for me. Guess what? I hired a couple rock climbers. They were awesome with ropes. They taught me how to rope up on a roof, right?
Mhm.
So I went directly to, I knew who I wanted to hire, and I went directly to them. So how do we, instead of casting this huge net over our entire service area, how do we just direct, right, our job ads and our efforts towards the people that we know we want to work in our companies? And then you're going to have a much higher success rate. You're going to go through less resumes. You're going to have less interviews, and you're going to find better people. And then I guess to add to that too, because we don't necessarily want to be looking in places where we just have this huge unemployment pool, we want our brand to speak to people that maybe already have jobs and they're looking to switch careers, just like you've said, you've outreach to people working in it.
Just different,
Yeah, in a
different
different
industries.
area, a different industry. Yeah. So how do we construct our social media to make, to showcase what fun our employees are having at work, outside of work, just to showcase this incredible company culture that we've built? And if you can continuously do that, people are going to start to have awareness of your brand, and they're going to start to reach out to you without even you having to put on a job ad. They're like, hey, I've been looking at your company for a few years now, and I've really wanted to come. We had this kid this year come apply for a job. He said, "Do you remember me?" I said, "Not really." He's like, "Yeah, I was here last year, but you told me that I was too young, but I've been waiting to apply at your company."
That's
And
cool.
I'm like, "Man,
Yeah.
you're hired.
Yeah,
Yeah, how old are you now? Come, yeah, you're here."
Yeah.
So, yeah, plenty of things that you can do, but just don't be putting generic job ads into this and casting this huge net, because you're going to get frustrated, right? There's no one good out here. You've got, I sifted through 200 resumes and none of them were good. Well, you don't even know who you want working at your company. So if you haven't figured that out yet, well, how are you going to directly target them? Well, you're not.
And if you have good company culture and you have good people already, your current employees are going to be your best ads, your best job ads. They are the ones that can actually tell people, you know what, it is really great here. I really do like my job. I really do like what I'm doing. So if you're treating your current employees right, they're also the ones, if they know you're looking for people, they're going to be able to talk to who they know and who they know and who they know. And it spreads and you'll get the right people coming back to you.
I think that if people spent or were as aggressive recruiting as they were about getting new leads, they'd probably be a lot better at recruiting. But we're not. We spend 100% of our effort getting leads, and then we throw some time at like recruiting, and we think, why aren't we successful? Well, you wouldn't get any leads for new work if you gave it the same effort that you're giving new hires.
Yeah.
So how about you match it up?
True.
Mhm.
It's so true. And
Mhm.
honestly, the people that you bring into your team are going to be more important than those few. Like if you get 5 leads for a candidate to join your company for a technician role, it's
Mhm.
going to be way more important than 5 leads for washing a house or
Yeah.
whatever your industry is.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, guys, this was a great conversation. I'm going to boil it down to 3 actionable items here. Number 1 is create a compelling job description. Have the 3-year vision in there. Make sure that people know how they can develop and learn your company. Make sure that people know that this is a positive place to work, and that you're not just saying you need a driver's license and you need to be able to lift 50 pounds. Number 2 is you need to have candidate clarity. You need to know what you're looking for. So sit down one day and decide, what are the soft skills I'm looking for? How much experience do I need, if any? And really be super clear on what you're looking for. And number 3 is play the long game. I like how Megan looks in middle school and high school and trade schools, and she's thinking about 10 years down the road for hiring. And so we can do the same thing. Guys, thanks for being here. That was great.
Yeah, thank you.
Megan, how do people find out more about you?
Yeah, you can check me out on toptierplumber.com. We're also on Facebook and Instagram.
Jackson?
Yeah, you can go to homeservicebusinesscoach.com and you can find out more about our program there.
Great. Well, I really appreciate you guys being here. Thank you.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
And thank you. I hope that you heard something today that will help you make your hiring efforts more effective and more compelling. I'm your host, Adam Sylvester. You can find me at adamsylvester.com. Your team and your clients deserve your very best, so go give it to them.